You might not have guessed this, as I'm not super open about it, but I play the twins a lot in hit horror game Dead by Daylight. When I was recording footage last week, I was basically winning, like, all of my games, and at first I chalked it up to being mid MMR, or just really fucking good at twins. But to be honest, I've been leaning really heavily on my anti-heal perks whenever I play them. I run Leverage, Sloppy Butcher, Forced Hesitation, and Forced Penance. These are all perks that synergize well with the twins' power, but running this build all the time also means that I don't have to focus as much on tracking the survivors or keeping them injured, because my perks are doing all of the heavy lifting for those aspects. By keeping survivors injured for longer, I'm usually able to use Victor to down multiple survivors in quick succession, and can usually end games by slugging everyone, aka snowballing. But again, all the heavy lifting isn't being done by my obviously incredible skills with the twins. But by my perk build, and that has stunted a very important skill that any DVD player needs to have, the ability to adapt. In order to test myself and showcase this skill, I ventured into the pandemonium of Dead by Daylight's current modifier. Chaos Shuffle forces all players in a trial to play with randomized perks. This pushes you out of your comfort zone and likely gives you perks that don't synergize well or can outright hinder you. But when that happens, your first instinct shouldn't be to give up and go on to the next game. You need to be in situations that challenge you. You need to push yourself to try new things. That is the only way to grow. And yeah, you'll lose a lot and you'll fail over and over and over again. But I've never seen so much growth and so much skill expressed on both the killer and survivor side when I was essentially jumping out of my cushy nest of comfortable crutch perks and learning to loop and chase. Which is embarrassing to learn so late in my DBD career. I literally have 5,000 hours. But it's really easy to basically just go through the motions and settle into a routine as a killer. You just optimize the build until it's exactly how you want it, and then do the same thing every single trial. We are humans, we're creatures of habit. Familiarity is a comfort and a safety net. But if I was stuck with what was familiar, I'd probably still be running generic meta perks like Barbecue or Pain Res, instead of tinkering with and building upon my perk loadouts. And the unfortunate truth about a stale environment is that it doesn't promote growth or change or anything. Without the ability to adapt, the game will pass you by. There have been consistent meta shakeups with strong perks getting nerfed to the ground and weak perks getting buffed. And what do you do when your favorite comfy perk gets changed? You can complain, you can take a break, you can yell about the developers being bad. I'd argue that the best course of action would be to grow into the new meta, not to fight against it. The game changes, and you need to change with it. That's why I think Chaos Shuffle is a good thing. It drops you into an unfamiliar environment, and you need to think fast in order to make the most out of every match. When I was playing Chaos Shuffle, I was honestly playing some of the best Twins games I've ever had. And it wasn't because I had particularly good perks or got good RNG with the maps. I was just taking more risks and leaning more on my mechanical Victor skills and game sense rather than my perk build. I got stuck with no mither as a survivor, and I didn't immediately give up. I tried my best, and I looped better because the stakes were higher. We need a sense of unfamiliarity. We need conflict to solve and situations to adapt to. It's like how zookeepers give animals frozen blocks of meat or puzzles to figure out. We need enrichment, otherwise we will just wander back and forth in our enclosures, and that is depressing. I'm sorry that this video is on the shorter side. I recently lost one of my guinea pigs, and it's been harder to focus on the editing and script writing processes because I'm bursting into tears every hour. I'd like to shout out my awesome Ko-Fi people. Thank you so much, Leo, Clover, Itza, Katz, Nelson, Hammock, Bashi, Taxi, Fajitas, Gwen, Alibi, Fluffy, Souza, Mazer, and Servit. Y'all are the reason I could have so much cool art in these videos. Thank you. Chaos Shuffle creates a space where everyone can start on basically uneven footing, where they don't know what they're working with. Therefore, everyone is forced to adapt. I actually have an ideal version of Chaos Shuffle where it fully leans into the chaos aspect of it and randomizes everything. Characters, perks, items, add-ons, offerings. Throw us into the deep end and see if we learn to swim. Obviously, everyone learns at their own pace. It took me over 100 hours to even be willing to play the killer side because I was terrified of the pressure of being the one in a 4v1. I've gone through phases of running chase builds, aura builds, following the meta, or going strictly off meta. If you lock yourself in a box and throw away the key, you are going to wither away and gradually lose any enjoyment you can find in this game. I embrace the fact that sometimes I'm gonna lose. I look at those losing situations head on and I take them as they come. Although they feel hopeless and frustrating, they make me better, and they help me learn how to adapt.